My name is June, and my breast cancer fight began in February of 2007. I had gone for my regular mammogram, and I sat back waiting to find what the results were, and the nurse came back and said, everything looks fine. I was good. I left, and that weekend, my husband and I decided to go up to Shasta in Northern California to do some snow playing and stuff like that. We were in a ski shop, and my phone rang, and it was the breast cancer mammogram center, and they said, we found something on the film. It doesn't look like we need an ultrasound. That next week, I went to the ultrasound. She came in, she examined me, and she says, oh, it's just a fibroid mass, anguish based, everything's fine. Normal women have it. And I thought, oh, okay. I didn't question it, which I should have done at that time. And in December, I was in the shower and I got a shooting pain up my area of my shoulder, my breast to my shoulder. And I said, something's not right. I immediately called my family physician. She came in, she examined me, put the stethoscope across her neck and said, I don't like it, and sent me off for a biopsy. And finally, I got the call from the doctor, and he said, June, you've got cancer. I hung up the phone. I don't remember what was said after that. I hung up the phone and burst out into tears, and then I had to call my husband to tell him. I told him, and I hung up the phone. And every year, I would buy something for breast cancer awareness because breast cancer runs in my family. And so I had a pink baseball cap that I had bought in the year before, and I had it hung on my dresser mirror. I looked at the cap. I stood up, looked at it, and said, wow, it really looks different now. I put the cap on my head. It was still snow out on the ground. I walked out of the house into the pasture, high on a pasture hill, brushed off the snow on a hay wagon, and had a tearful, longful talk with God. And I wrote in the snow, I will survive by my God. I got off that wagon, and I was a different person. I was not, a victim of cancer. I was a warrior of cancer. After I wrote in the snow and got collected and felt so much stronger, I went home and it was like, okay, what do I do next? I had surgery on the 15th, and they removed a lump on my left breast. I had the opportunity to have a mastectomy, but I'm a big gambler. And I said, let's do a lump and let's take it from there. And so when I was on the table, the surgeon did a clean margin, sent it off to pathology, and the pathologist came back and said, nope, she's not clean. She has DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ, which is cancer in the milk ducts. It was decided that I was going to have 6 chemotherapies to follow with radiation. The number of radiations was unknown at that time. So we still had to deal with the DCIS as well. So what we decided to do is to have the chemotherapy with the idea that the chemo will eradicate the DCIS. My oncologist gave me this little readout, and it says, you hair loss between 14 to 20 days after your first chemo treatment. Well, my first chemo treatment was February 6th of '08, and on February 20th, it started coming out. It was amazing. It was like clockwork. Before it started falling out, I went and had it cut off in a short pixie. But then when I woke up the morning and I had a small toupee on my pillow, I knew I had to do something about it. So I had asked my husband if he would shave my head. I went and got our wedding glasses, and we poured champagne, and we celebrated myself going bald. And I cried a little bit, but more so, I really had fun with it. I really had fun with it. After the chemotherapy was done, I had to go in for a re-incision to find out if the DCIS was gone, was eradicated with the chemotherapy, and it was. After that, that was very happy to know that was gone. And then after that, I was set up for 33 sequences of radiation every day, 5 days a week. And the last radiation, it didn't seem real. It was like, it's over. You know, I had made friends with these people. They were, everybody was so entranced with you. Everybody took care of you. They were concerned with you. And then now I'm done with radiation, and poof, I'm off into the world with coming back periodically for PET scans and CAT scans and things like that. The day I was told I was cancer-free, I'll never forget it. I was riding in my rodeo, going to shopping somewhere, probably to get beads, because I found beading was something very helpful to me during my cancer treatment. And I was on the road, and I was talking to my cousin, and a call beeps in, and I said, you know, hold on, let me get this. And it was my surgeon. And she called me and she said, you're cancer-free. The test came back. You're cancer-free. And I was just like, oh, thank you, thank God, thank you. And I hung up the phone. I got back on the phone with my cousin, and I told her, and we were squealing, and I said, you know, I don't even know if the tires are hitting the road. And she says, well, you better pull over. And but I was just so happy. Now that I'm cancer-free, it's different. You're not who you were before. You're someone else, but you're at the same time trying to find that person who you were. So it's a matter of letting go, coming back to, but yet evolving. But I decided to write a book about my cancer healing journey, and it's called Been There, Done That. And it's going to be a synopsis of my experience through breast cancer, but also the humorous aspect. A book that will empower women to let them be free and be who they are, and don't set in the norm. And I just want to tell women that they're not their breast cancer. They're still who they are. So many women fall, I'm breast cancer, I'm breast cancer, and they forget that they're Judy, or that they're Barbara. I never forgot that I was June. I was June the warrior, and I still am.